Good afternoon everyone, I hope you enjoyed yesterday's story. So I'm going to read you another one this afternoon, again from The World's Worst Children 2. I hope you enjoy it as much as you did yesterday. So this afternoon I'm going to read this one, and it's called Cruel Clarissa. Once upon a time, there lived a little girl called Clarissa. On the outside, she appeared to be the sweetest, kindest, gentlest little girl you could ever meet. Clarissa would wear an old-fashioned pink dress, always with a matching pink ribbon in her hair. Everything in her bedroom was a shade of pink. She had pink teddy bears, pink ponies, a pink vanity set. The only colouring crayons she had were shades of pink. The girl had a collection of antique porcelain dolls who she dressed in pink in night dresses and tucked up in bed when she went to sleep. Clarissa's favourite toy was a miniature pink tea set. She would delight her grandma and granddad by letting them watch her drink tea from her tiny cup and stuff her face with thousands of fairy cakes with pink icing. Everyone thought the little girl was absolutely adorable. However, this delightful behaviour masked what Clarissa was really like. The girl had a streak of dire cruelty within her, and a cruelty towards cats. When she was a baby, Clarissa had grabbed a cat's tail and yanked it so hard, the creature hissed at her and made her cry. Ever since then, she's hated cats. And when no one was looking, she would do something beastly to them. Clarissa would pour pepper into the cat's food so it had a sneezing fit. She'd squeeze glue onto the branches of the tree so they'd get stuck. She even tied two tails together so neither could go anywhere. She painted one bright pink so it looked like a stick of candy floss. She attached one to a kite and then launched the terrified creature up into the air. She would stick stamps on them and post them to Australia. She used 100 remote-controlled toy mice to drive one cat crazy. She even swapped one with her grandma's wig so that the cat would be plonked on top of the old lady's head all day. Clarissa had been tormenting the local cats like this for years, but she'd never had one of her own. And as it was her birthday coming up, Clarissa asked her parents for a very special present. "Mama, Papa," the girl said. "Yes, my angel sent from heaven," replied Papa. "I'm a little bit lonely," she said. "Oh, my sweet baby cakes," said Mama. "Whatever can we do, little snowflake?" "Mama, Papa, it would be awfully nice if I had a little kitten too." What was she going to say? Love. The girl's parents had tears in their eyes. She had fooled them good and proper. "How did we create such a perfect child?" asked Mama. "Clarissa is better than perfect," replied Dad. The girl smirked to herself. Mama and Papa couldn't wait till Clarissa's birthday, which was a whole week away. So they surprised her with a very special present. Mama and Papa took Clarissa up her breakfast tray in bed, like they did every day. But when she lifted the silver cover off the platter, instead of boiled egg and soldiers, there was the cutest little kitten you have ever seen. "Surprise!" said Mama and Papa. The kitten's fur was as white as snow, and it had the biggest, beautiful blue eyes and the softest paws and the most kissable nose that was dinky and pinky in colour. As Mama handed it to her, the little girl scooped it up in her arms and held it tight. The kitten meowed in pleasure and snuggled up to her. Meow. "Mama, Papa, I love her," exclaimed Clarissa. And she is going to love you too, replied Papa. To the moon and back, added Mama. What are you going to call her? Clarissa thought for a moment. Blossom. Oh, my most darling of all darlings, that's the sweetest name I've ever heard. They are both so adorable together, I just want to weep, announced Papa. Happy tears, I hope. Good. Now Blossom is all yours, my sweetest sugar drop, so promise me you'll take good care of her, asked Mama. Of course I will. I just want to say that you are the best Mama and Papa in the whole world and I love you heaps and heaps. Mama and Papa looked at each other beaming with pride and left the room. As soon as the door closed, the little girl's cuter than cute expression changed. Right, Blossom, Clarissa snarled. Her voice was deeper now, and the cutest sing-song tone had vanished. Immediately, the kitten was shaking with fear. Cats are vile creatures, and now I have one to torment to my heart's content. Meow, cried Blossom. The first thing that cruel Clarissa did was put headphones over the kitten's ears and make her listen to a booming Beethoven symphony really loud. The girl laughed as poor Blossom suffered. Clarissa then flung Blossom onto the fan hanging from the ceiling in her bedroom and put the speed up really fast so she span round and round. She then mixed chili powder into the cat's food. That meant when the kitten broke wind, she shot right up into the air. The girl put her hair in curlers and gave Blossom an awful perm. Like a pirate, Clarissa made Blossom walk the plank into the pond. She styled her whiskers so it made it look as if she had a silly moustache, made famous by a Spanish surrealist painter, Salvador Dali. Worst of all was the time Clarissa smuggled Blossom into the Crufts dog show under her coat and let the poor creature loose on all the dogs to chase. Now, of course, cats are very intelligent creatures. So, if you look at a list of animals from, let's have a look at this, cleverest, stupidest, let's have a look. We've got an orangutan, a dolphin, an elephant, a cat, a crow, a bear, a goldfish, a slug, a sponge, and a human, and the cat is there on the list, in the middle. So cats come quite near the top. One night, while Clarissa was sleeping in her little pink bed, after yet another long day of kitten tormenting, Blossom managed to squeeze herself out of an open window. The kitten hopped across the roofs of the neighbouring houses and followed the sound of the distant meows. Blossom found a garden where the local cats were having their nightly meeting. Under the silvery glow of the moon, the animals were dealing with business. Cat business. There were squabbles over territories, reports of badly behaved dogs, and tales shared of which old ladies were the kindest by putting out saucers of milk for them. Overseeing it all was an old tomcat who lived wild on a rubbish dump. Little Blossom was a little bit nervous about joining the group at first, but eventually she jumped down off the roof and met her fellow felines. Through tears, Blossom told the other cats about the cruelty that she had suffered at the hands of her owner. Needless to say, the other cats were furious. How could anybody treat a defenceless little kitten like that? I'll show you the picture of them all having the meeting. Once Blossom had described Clarissa to them, it turns out that they had all been victims of this beastly child too. As the leader, the tomcat announced that they would have to work together to take revenge on cruel Clarissa. With a show of paws, the motion was passed, and the very next night, under the cover of darkness, the cats would strike. The following morning, Clarissa woke up with just one thing on her mind: kitten punishing. The girls strapped Blossom to a roller skate and propelled her down the stairs. She then pegged the poor creature to the washing line right between Papa's underpants and Mama's frilly knickers. Clarissa then tied the kitten to a model railway track and then flicked the switch to drive the train towards her at speed. Oh, goodness me. There she is, doing all these cruel things to her. However, despite all this kitten bothering today, Blossom didn't seem to look the least bothered. In fact, throughout all these ordeals, the kitten just purred away. Blossom knew that night was coming. "Just you wait till tomorrow, Blossom," whispered the girl menacingly. She went to bed, dreaming of more ways to make her kitten suffer. In the middle of the night, the girl woke up to a foul smell. She realised there was something whiffy right in front of her nose. Opening just one eye, the little girl saw a furry face staring back at her, and she realised the terrible truth. She was staring straight at a cat's bottom. No wonder it was whiffy. It belonged to the dirty old tomcat. Clarissa screamed. The girl tried to get up but couldn't move. Looking down at her arms and legs, she realised they were covered in cats. All these strange moggies were pinning her down. "Get off me, you vile creatures," she screamed, but the cats wouldn't let go. And there the cats are on top of her. Using all her might, Clarissa rolled herself out of bed. Thump! With great difficulty, she stood up, catching a glimpse of herself in the mirror. And to her horror, Clarissa realised she was covered from head to toe in cats. Sitting on top of her head was Blossom herself. The kitten was smiling and purring loudly. This was revenge. The girl tried to knock the cats off by banging her arms and legs against the furniture in her bedroom, but the creatures just dug in their claws and hung on to her. "Ouch!" yelled the girl. There was nothing for it. Clarissa had to scare off the cats herself. One thing these animals hated was water. So the girl raced down the stairs and across the back garden into the direction of the pond. She took a running jump. Seeing the water ahead, all the cats dived off and landed on the ground. Splash! Cruel Clarissa landed in the pond. After a moment, she popped her head up out of the cold green water. Weeds all stuck in her hair. The cats gathered around the pond and they hissed fiercely. They reached out their paws to swipe her. There they are. So the girl ducked her head under the water again and held her breath. Surely the cats would disperse. But when she resurfaced, they were all still there hissing. Again, with outstretched paws, they all swiped their claws out to her. Clarissa hid under the water again, and this went on all night. As dawn broke, her parents ran into the garden and shooed all the cats away. Shoo, shoo. Blossom jumped on the back of the old tomcat and they all darted off. Mama and Papa dragged their daughter out of the water. "Oh, my poor darling," cried Mama. "What on earth has happened to my little ray of sunshine?" The girl had turned a nasty shade of green and was shivering with the cold. Her teeth were chattering like crazy, and there was a frog crouched on top of her head. Ribbit. Clarissa coughed and spluttered, and the tadpole she had swallowed shot out of her mouth. The girl had never felt so sorry for herself in her life. Cruel Clarissa had learnt a lesson. She would never, ever torment a cat again. There she is. It's coming out of the water. The tomcat took Blossom off to a lovely family who had often fed. So the tomcat took Blossom off to a lovely family who had often fed the old stray fish and chips. There Blossom stayed, loved by everybody. For her next birthday, Clarissa begged her parents for a very different present. Mama, Papa, the girl said. Yes, my scrumptious little fairy cake, replied Mama. For my birthday, please can I have a little bunny rabbit? The end. So I wonder, after treating her little kitten like that, whether her mum and dad did get her a little bunny rabbit. What do you think? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that this afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow with another short story.